All right, so kind of repeating what I already said here. So we are working on kind of the start of our final project is what we're starting to work on here. We kind of have 2 days of it, today and Thursday. So today we're going to actually look at a learning situation, and we're going to, I believe you're going to design your own at the end of it. And at the end of this, you're going to turn in this practice schedule, you're going to turn in the table, and then you're going to write a paragraph and create a learning situation. So I can make this bigger without it being blue. The table, that's this one. Table 11.1.
This is table. Oh.
And then 11.2. It's going to look like this. All right, so here would be organizing a practice schedule. So Lucy here is learning to ride a bike. So I don't think it says, where am I at here? BMX. Did we do this project already? Did we already do this whole make a practice schedule?
Oh, we did the practice schedule for like a sport.
Okay. So, but we didn't do a specific learning task. So what we're ending up doing here is we're taking a lot of the things that we've used and we're going to kind of put it all together. So, and this is kind of that last step here. So Lucy is learning to ride a bike. So let's just say she's, 7 years old, kindergarten, first grader that's learning to ride a bike. So physical abilities that you need to develop for Lucy to ride a bike. She's going to need physical strength. She's going to need muscle endurance, and you'll be checking on this. Does she need aerobic endurance to learn to ride a bike? No. So it's not like these are like, does she need power as a 7-year-old to ride a bike? Not really. Coordination? Yeah. Agility? Well, if we define it by what we did in TNT a little bit, no. Balance? Definitely. Maybe a little bit of speed, but more agility, coordination. Doesn't need a lot of strength. So, we're kind of like check marking those. And then you're going to type in here or write by hand if you want to do it that way. What the explanation of that would be. Why does she need agility, coordination, and balance and not aerobic endurance? So what would the motivation of Lucy be to learn to ride a bike?
What would be the motivation?
Yeah, what would be a kindergarten first grader's?
To go on and ride with their friends? Yeah, to go on bikers with their mom and dad or their friends.
Probably peer pressure.
Yeah.
My peers can all do it, so I want to be able to do it too. So that would be so how will this affect their practice and learning, and why? How would her wanting to be able to go play with her friends affect her practice and learning of this?
She'd probably push for herself.
Probably a little more intrinsic motivation there. Let's see, learning stages of the performer. Is she going to be cognitive, associative, or autonomous? Autonomous is when it's automatic. Probably cognitive. Remember, cognitive was like my son trying to take his first steps and how much he had to really concentrate just to get that one step moved. So that probably would be the cognitive level for this person. And you would explain why that would be. Is it going to be a complex task?
Maybe for her, a 7-year-old, it might be kind of complicated.
Mm-hmm.
I would say so.
So the upper body skills would be steering and balance.
Yes.
Lower body would be
Pedaling or just leg positioning.
Well, there's a lot of both when it comes to riding a bike, because you have your core strength that's going to determine a lot of your balancing in there. And really, how you would traditionally learn. Did you guys learn to ride a bike?
I had training wheels.
You had training wheels?
They didn't have me do it. I would try to turn it too sharp, I just tipped the bike over the first time.
I don't remember.
Threw the training wheels off after that, and I just.
My dad, when my grandparents bought my brother and I bikes, my brother already, I think, knew how to ride a bike. I didn't. And, they had this 3-car garage, 3.5-car garage. You could fit 4 cars across. And they had a huge driveway in this in a little city in Nebraska, Pancake Flat. So big flat driveway. Probably the size of this room was probably the driveway. That's not even the garage. Like, we could ride our bikes in the garage at that house at that age. But I remember my dad took the training wheels off the moment we got home. We practiced in the driveway so Grandma could see us try, and Dad's like, nope, those are gone. Second we got home, didn't even get them out of the car, and Dad's like, nope, you're not trying these until it's off. I'm like, okay. Well, nowadays, most kids learn on a balance bike first.
Is it like
I got one in here.
balance bike? You know what that is? Oh, balance bike. Yeah, balance bike.
This is what my son's learning on.
Oh, that's sick. Oh, you can run with your feet. Oh.
A balance bike
What?
is how kids nowadays learn. So my son can sit on this, and he pushes with his feet, and he runs around the gym. That's what he's done when it's been too cold out. Need to put more air in these tires, I just realized. No wonder he struggled. But yeah, he can cruise around on this without too much trouble. So he learns the balance. He learns how to turn. Because in order to turn, you technically, if I want to turn to my right, you turn it left and then turn to the right.
Yeah.
Like learning that kind of balancing. Then you actually I will probably take like a 2x4 and I will probably prop the bike up and have him learn how to pedal without any resistance. And then I'll put them together and have him pedal and do the balancing he already knows how to do. That's how most people, but probably this learning situation is, so this is where I'm getting this whole upper body, lower body. I would say the upper body skills would be the balance bike. Lower body would be learning the pedaling. Complexity, how closely are they related? So if you took the traditional way of them just kind of being thrown on there with training wheels, you would actually learn the pedaling first, then you'd learn the balancing because you take the training wheels off. And really training wheels, they usually had different heights. Like you can start them really close and then you make them a little higher, little higher, little higher. So as they lean more and more and more until they can just take them off. That's how training wheels used to be. So when it says the complexity of tasks, how are they related? It depends on the route you go. And that's just being the dad that's trying to teach his son that's a 3-year-old, almost a 3-year-old in like 2 weeks, to ride a bike.
You should send him down the hill to the airport.
Yeah, the one I ride my bike down every day. All right, so how often would you want a kid to practice?
3 times a week. I think it'd be, honestly, I feel like if he was enjoying it, it'd be daily. 4 times a week, every day.
I'd probably go that, and that's going to be up to you. You know, how many minutes would each practice session be for a 7-year-old?
It'd be that long.
10 minutes maybe? Really, it'd be really short. Would you be looking for speed, accuracy, or both?
Accuracy, fast at all.
You don't want him going fast, but he's got to go fast enough. I mean, that's where your rationale there is going to be.
Yeah.
What would the rationale be for that? So adding that to there. Oh man, none of you guys have iPads out. When I did this last year, there were like 3 people in here just scribbling down as fast as they can on their iPad there. Would you practice it in parts or in whole?
Well, you kind of just broke it into parts. Right?
I would break it into parts. It used to be, as I say, when you use a balance bike and then that would be a parts method. Or would you do it the whole method, which would be probably more training wheels where they're learning to balance, pedal, and everything all at one time? That would be more of the whole method. So that one, you're going to have to choose which you think is going to be the best. How many trials would you have per session? Well, if it's a fairly short thing, I mean, how many times can a kid fall down before they get tired of it? Do you think they get 20 there? Max is 20. Kids are actually more resilient than adults are when it comes to failure. Let's see. Would you want to do a block, variable, or random? I don't know if there's really much random you can do in a bike other than like where they're riding. So blocked would be, what do you think? What would be a block practice for bikes?
Like the one where you prop the back up and you practice
Mm-hmm. Variable.
Maybe someone comes and he has to ride between.
Mm-hmm. And then random.
Just go on the bike ride.
Trails. Going to the back 40. Oh, I totally am going to be my kid's going to be riding around the airport. That's going to be our loop.
Yeah.
I bet he's going to be riding this thing around that by the end of the summer. I bet he's going to be able to, other than the big hills, but I think he's going to he's probably going to be able to ride from our house to the pond. That's enough up and downs there, but I think he's probably going to be cruising on that all the way there at some point.
What's it called? So we're turning this in, right?
Yes.
Okay.
This is one of the things you're doing. So you're pretty much just working your way through this, and you guys can work as a group here to do that. Yeah. Is this a meaningful task? Well, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you distribute the practice in mass, or would you distribute it out? That's probably what I would say for biking is probably going to be distributed, because you're not going to be able to go for 2 hours straight, X number of days a week. It's probably going to be a short attention span for 20 minutes every week, spread out there. Definitely meaningful. Oh man, what kind of feedback would you give for a kid? Would you be specific, positive? Would you give a lot of corrective?
Positive.
All positive.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're doing a great job, buddy. Oh man, that'd be me. Oh wait, that is me. What am I saying? Sean has a kind of a 4-wheel bike that was for like a 12-month-old. Well, but these things are really close together. I mean, they're only 3 inches, or they're like an inch apart, and they're like an inch wide wheel on the front and on the back. It was probably for like a 12-month-old, but he still cruises around the house on it right now. At the moment, there's a ramp at my house for the wheelchair for my mom, for her scooter. And he likes taking that thing up and riding it down. And at first he was kind of like stopping himself going down the hill. And now he just goes, whee! Just picks up his speed and just flies down the ramp as far as it can go. I'm like, oh boy. I don't know if I want to encourage this too much. I'd say you give a lot of positive feedback for a kid. There's probably a lot more general things. Good job getting around that corner. That's a general thing. Good turn. And the only corrective thing, let's not ride in the street. Things like that. Amount of feedback, would you give it to him all the time? Half the time? So you're going to have to explain that one. All right, so I will kind of let you guys work through the other ones as a group. All 3 of these.
Wait, really? It says pick one.
Does it say pick one?
Yeah, it says use one of the 3 examples right on the campus.
Yeah, well,
Bro, man, I should probably say pick number 2 or 3. Because I just went over number 1 with you. Pick one of them that we don't go over. And you guys can do it all together if you want. So let me adjust that here. Say pick after you select one of the three examples, not the one we go over.
So what are the paragraphs about?
That's coming.
Dude, how do I turn this document into like a Word document? Bruh.
That's what this button over here is. Export PDF
Dope.
as Word document.
Well, I have it.
If nothing else, I'll have it for you after that. All right, so, ooh, man, that did not come out very nice. That came out pretty ugly. We'll come back on that one. All right, so then you're going to write a paragraph where you're basically going to write with this entire checklist. So now that you've kind of thought it all out and you've kind of gone through that, now you're going to write a checklist or you're going to write a paragraph using these checklists here. So we are going to do a child. So I would type this all out. Let me give you an example as we're going here. New. Slide this over here so I can see it. So it's going to look something like this. This is a terrible way to start it. Please come up with a better way. For the first time. Lucy is we're going to do age. Lucy is a 7-year-old who has not learned how, this is actually fairly late to learn to ride a bike, by the way. 7's fairly old to learn a bike.
You're right.
And I'm literally just working my way through this. Age, previous experience, motivation. Several classmates at class. I'm making this up to a degree.
Oh, that's the motivation.
Yep. So he has several classmates in class who invited her to, oh, here we go on a Sabbath afternoon. Bike ride to the back 40. You notice that the phrase back 40, it works for like every single school's grounds. I know like 3 different schools that call it the back 40. It's really funny. And then I would just, what are her, and I would just kind of work my way through, what stage of learning, what abilities, what attention span. And I would just kind of work my way down this entire list as much as possible. I mean, some of them may not be applicable to that age group. As you've got 2 other ones that you're doing, BMX, and I forgot what the last one is. And as much as possible here, you're going to work your way through that one. And same thing here, as many of these as you can get.
So all 3 rows?
Mm-hmm.
We just check them off.
Yep. So what I would do is as you're writing, I would be checking these off. And you do need to be able to have this in a way that you can check it off. So I will.
Wait, so we're writing our 2 paragraphs based off the tables?
Mm-hmm. Checklist for diagnosing a learning experience. Do I need to do this one? Checklist. Let me make sure you're not doing the entire thing, because that would be like the entire final project there. Let's go back to, right, 2 to 3 paragraphs, similar to the example paper given in class on the bicycle example. Did I not have that on there? Turn in organizing a practice schedule, and then turn in that first table. So we're only doing table 1. So you only have to do the first page here. So just table 1. And this, hopefully you can do this, like who is going to be a paragraph, goal of learn, who, what, talk about what the task is. Riding a bike is a continuous task. It is it is an open skill or a closed skill. So I was just kind of giving you a start there. So basically kind of check as many of these off as you can. You're probably not going to have very much, the arousal level for a child is going to be fairly low. Is it an open loop or is it closed loop? Going to do this as recreation. And they don't have to necessarily be straight in order either. I don't think I put this on here, but let's add this to here. When you use one of these terminologies in here, I want you to either underline it or bold it, because that's what you're going to do in your final project as well. Because when I grade this, I'm going to take this exact thing here and I'm going to check them off. How many of these did they get? So I'm kind of giving you practice in doing that. So I'm going to add that little bit into here. I do not remember. I think it's like 5 pages, 4 pages. But most of it's describing and how would you teach this and using all the terms that you've had as a part of it.
Oh, I'm so hungry.
Wait, yeah, what's the final produce? And this is like the prompt? Or where's the prompt?
What do you mean the prompt?
For the final paper?
We will talk about that on Thursday in great detail.
That's what we're doing.
This is the start.
Okay, yeah, but the final
This is the
project
first page. We will actually write the first page of your final project on Thursday.
Okay.
And you will turn it in. I will give you feedback on it before Sunday or before whenever it's due. Last year it was due on Thursday. This year I think it's due on like Monday or Tuesday. It's fairly early in the week. It was the last final last year. All right, questions?
No, actually, I had a